That's the first time I ever had a problem, but I think it's Okay.
Right.
Yep, we're ready.
All right, we'll call to order. Please stand for the pledge of the flag and the short pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, we ask that you guide us in our decisions tonight to best benefit the township. We ask that you keep sending this weather and keep everybody safe. Amen.
Amen.
All right, anybody have any changes for the agenda? Or additions?
Old business, I want to talk about Succo's Park.
I have something there too.
Where do you want that at?
Old business.
You
I've got a couple questions during fire, but I can just ask Amy when we're there, so nothing for me.
Yeah.
I have the cemetery stuff Brian gave me, and down under new business, just one quick thing down there I need to put on.
Okay. With that, has everybody had a chance to review the meeting minutes from 2/12?
Trustee Barry moves to accept as presented.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? With that, we'll move on to the treasurer's report.
Trustee Griffith motions to accept it as presented.
Trustee Barry in second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right. Next we'll move to public speaks. And
2 days from now.
actually, we have a visitor, Mr. Matt Kishman.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Matt Kishman. I serve as Director of Operations at our Kishman Markets in Minerva and Malvern. And currently I'm on the Village Council in Minerva, and I also serve on our Sandy Creek Fire District Board. And I'm just here tonight. I'm running for state representative for the 50th District, and I'm just visiting tonight, so I just wanted to come and sit in the meeting. So I
Great.
just want to introduce myself.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
That's great.
You said that was for the 50th?
Yeah, 50th
50th?
District, current Reggie Stoltz's seat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you run for that? When's your
I don't have a primary, so it'll be in the
Okay.
November election.
November? All right. Great.
Do you have a challenger?
I will after the primary, yep,
There is a Democrat.
out of Madison.
Out of Madison. Okay.
And maybe an independent too, so.
Oh, okay.
Good luck.
That was Reggie's term over.
No, he's running for Congress.
Oh, he's running for Congress. Okay.
He'll stay in that seat then till,
He'll stay in the seat until, probably until in June, there's another election that'll take Bill Johnson's seat right away, so.
so then will they appoint someone to
I think
finish?
they'll appoint someone to fill Reggie's.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. So if he does not get Congress, has he missed his chance to run then for the
He
seat you're
did,
running
yeah.
for?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a risk of, I'm running for
Losing
Congress, if I don't
seat.
get it, I've lost my seat.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
I'm gonna assume the store will run good without you,
I think so.
especially the bakery.
Yeah.
They're in good hands.
All right. 6A under public speak should be under 7A under fire.
Okay.
So if nobody else here, we'll move to fire and start with 7A. We need to approve the 2024 fire EMS dispatching service agreement.
Do we need to have discussion on that, or does it just need to get approved?
You want to speak? You got anything to say about it, or?
How's that working with the rest of the county with the Marks program? Are we still, did Nimichellen update then?
Amy, do you get a copy
So
of that?
Nimichellen Fire Department is not running on Marks, but CENTCOM dispatch is on.
Okay. With CENTCOM.
This is what. it looks like.
Yeah, CENTCOM dispatches us just fine.
This is it.
This is the yearly agreement, correct?
And so we're not using the sheriff's department, we're using CENTCOM.
So yes, not every 911 call gets routed through the sheriff's department unless they call the 488-1515 number.
Okay.
And that's countywide. That doesn't matter if you're being dispatched by Red Center, by CENTCOM, whoever. It all 911s get routed through
The
the
sheriff.
sheriff. And then from there, it gets sent to CENTCOM.
Actually, the rate
Is
is the
CENTCOM's
same.
pricing competitive with the
It's
sheriff's
$36
department?
per.
I don't know what the sheriff's
That's what it is
department's
right now.
pricing is.
January
I
started
don't
out.
have any idea.
It's based on your incidents.
I don't wish to switch dispatching centers.
We
It
don't
would
really
be.
have a choice.
It's a work, yeah.
If we're gonna stay with the Michelle.
Yeah, and I've been at other agencies that have had the sheriff's department dispatch. I prefer CENTCOM, especially since most of our neighboring departments are still by CENTCOM. Makes it
Okay.
easier, but that's my opinion. I
Yeah.
don't wish to switch, but
So
you
there,
certainly get pricing.
so there's some, obviously there's some verbiage on this. I won't read it all, but the one we're probably most important, it says Osnaburg Township agrees to pay Nimishillen Township for emergency dispatching services for a monthly fee of $21.81, so $2,181 at the rate of $36 per accident based on your 2023 run volume of 727 accidents, or incidents, I'm sorry. It's incidents, not accidents. So what they do is they use last year's run volume and it's 36 per. Okay. Does all that make sense, everybody?
Mhm.
Should we make a motion? All right.
Unless you got another avenue.
Nope, I think that we're there. Trustee Varian moves to accept the service agreement before us for the 2024 fire and EMS dispatching service to Nimishillen Township.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, we have to sign that one. Okay.
Yeah, if you could sign that, make sure everybody signs it for me.
Okay.
All right.
Chief, real quick before you start yours,
Yep, I'm ready.
is the air compressor still running?
Yeah.
Great. Door's been ordered.
Yes.
Is there anything else we need? Or should we be good?
They said 2 weeks.
Did we talk about paint yet? We're gonna paint it.
I think we need to.
Does it, we'll see if it comes painted, probably not, but, okay.
Who did we order the door from then?
You texted us, didn't you?
McQuilkin?
McQuilkin?
Yep, it was $40 cheaper than the other quote.
Great.
So, Captain Adams ordered it from them. They said 2 weeks.
Good, awesome. That's all I have, go ahead.
Okay, so first thing I would offer up that we would hire, so Kyle Ledger. He has training, so he is a 240 EMT basic, but he is young. He went through a tech prep program, so he's like 19 years old.
Okay.
We'll certainly need some training, but we have the ability right now to train someone else. So I would like to hire him while we have the ability to train someone. I have his application here. You're welcome to look at it. I only just have that one. I didn't make copies.
Do you know what kind of availability he has?
Yeah, so he is working part-time at Mogador, so he has pretty open availability, including weekends, so.
Are you concerned that he's in Norton? I
At
mean,
this
we're
point,
taking
no.
what we can
We have
get.
a couple of other
Okay.
people that live further.
Okay, but he's coming for, he'll most likely come for the shift if he's that far away.
Yeah,
We're not gonna get a
Correct.
split shift or a quarter shift. Okay.
correct.
Coventry High, cool.
And he went through Star State's tech prep program, so.
Okay.
He is certified.
So we'll need to train him and we'll need to get him some gear. How are we looking on the gear world? Did any of the people that left us recently?
So
leave
yeah,
anything
so
worth-
we've had a couple of people who had left here recently, so I'm optimistic that something will fit him. And then
Great.
as we move through the year, we usually allocate for 2 sets, so
Okay,
hopefully when we get to that point, we
All right.
don't have something that fits him.
okay. And all the last couple that have left we've been successful getting all of our keys and gear and radio and all that. We're all
Yep.
turned back in, all good to go.
No.
Great.
Nope.
All right. You guys have any more discussion on Kyle Ledger?
I don't.
All right. Trustee Varian moves to hire Kyle Ledger, as a 240 EMT basic.
Correct.
Brian, do you have what helps you in the world of payroll? When would you like to see that happen?
If he's the basic,
Mhm.
that's the, I don't know the wage rate offhand without
Yeah.
looking it up. I can look it up.
Well,
I would have to look it up.
We'll look up the basic wage for that one.
Yeah, let me look it up. Let me see where I got it.
Did he give you an idea of when he could start?
Whenever I call him.
Okay. Mary, would you mind setting that back down?
How much do you expect him to work? Like,
So initially, he'll be there that 8 hours a week that we can train him. We've allocated for 8 hours a week, and I would anticipate it would take a while to get him trained. So we have one of our members who's likely getting hired somewhere else full-time, and while he wants to stick around, he'll be MIA initially, so we'll eventually have some shifts to fill.
Okay. Brian, you care, my motion's still kind of hanging. Do you care on a date on hire?
Do you want to just be next?
Next
Yeah,
pay.
okay.
All right. Trustee Berry moves to hire Kyle Ledger as a 240 EMT basic, which we will look up the wage on that, and we will hire him for the next pay, and Chief can get a hold of him in
March 3rd.
March 3rd. Okay.
Trustee Griffith seconds?
Roll call vote.
Griffith,
Yes.
Varian,
Yes.
Piru,
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so I wanted to have some discussion on 241. Fallsway came out and they looked at it. They have not gotten a quote back to me yet. I anticipate it being high. They don't want to reuse the bumper. They want to repaint the whole cab. There's a whole bunch that they want to do to the truck. However, Fallsway coming out, they were able to look at all the waterways and the truck is in service. So they were able to say, yes, everything's good this way, which made me happy. So she don't look pretty, but she's functional, which is what they were able to tell me. I have spoken to the adjuster. They've assigned us an adjuster who came out to look at it. I will also say that in the meantime, Captain Adams has looked at it and he feels confident that the bumper can just be put back where it was. He would take off lights, siren, all of that, perhaps enlist some assistance from the road department to basically bend that bumper back, and then we would need to have the paint fixed on the truck. We have opened up an insurance claim on it, but I don't
Okay.
remember if it's 500 or 1,000 is our deductible, to be completely honest with you.
Have we seen an incident report yet for it?
From the individuals, yes,
Do we have that we get to see that?
I have it.
Okay, so I'd like to see it.
Sure.
The only thing that concerned me and Cliff talked about when we fixed it and looked at it is there's a pump outlet or something that comes through there.
Yeah.
And if something if we fix
Yep.
that and something
Yep.
happens and somebody's house burns down because something fails, I'm not saying it's going to.
Sure.
What's liability?
Yeah, I don't know. His recommendation would be that's connected by a U-bolt to unbolt all of the actual drag. So the actual waterways from that, fix it and then put it back. That would be his recommendation.
Dan's.
Mhm.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that sounds.
I mean, it's up to you guys if you want him to look at it and try and fix it. His ask would be that if we make it worse, then that liability, then it's not.
Yeah, I look at it like this.
So
We
it's up
don't-
to you guys.
We don't have enough money in the bank to be buying a fire engine. Of course we don't. We've talked about this. I want to fix it right. And I know there's going to be a cost to that, but I'm afraid we're going to put lipstick on a pig and then be upset with ourselves.
Sure.
And if we need this thing to be in service for 6, 8 more years, I mean, I hope
Sure.
not, but if we do,
We want to keep it up.
we want to keep it up.
Yeah,
Sure.
and
That's what
we
the
used to
insurance
go
is for.
down to that company to the south for something.
Yep, so Advantac is the
Yeah.
other company that we've contacted. They
And-
are supposed to write up a quote as well.
Okay.
And,
Um,
and
go ahead.
secondly, I love that Captain Adams is willing to jump in and he saved us a bunch of money and he probably will continue to. But I also wouldn't want to put that on him.
So,
Like, that's kind of not fair to him to be like, hey, let's bend the bumper back.
so the other caveat, when Fallsway came up, they said they would anticipate at a minimum, by the time they get everything they need and fixing it would be July, and they said the truck would be out of service for about a month.
Okay,
So that is the other thing we need to consider.
okay.
That seems
I
exceptional
would-
for a bumper.
Agree.
Okay.
That's why we contacted Advantek. So the adjuster said he would get a second quote from Advantek. He essentially came out, took pictures, and said he handles it from there. I've been in contact with Otarma and the adjuster as far as that.
What was our deductible on it?
Oh, we went over this report recently. I forget.
I know. I tried to look on the
1,000 or
card stuff,
15?
and it's not all
Something like that.
cards.
it's 500 or it's 1,000.
Yeah, that's, I
1,000.
knew it was either 500 or
Yeah.
1,000.
I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know if the other
So-
trustees have the same
It's gonna
opinion.
be over that.
I'd like to probably get it fixed the right way, but at the same time, we do have to factor in if it's out of service for a month, that's a big deal to our residents. I mean, It's our only fire engine.
Correct.
We
We have our
have one.
tanker. We have our tanker.
We have our tanker, but that's calling on Louisville a lot too.
Potentially.
If that thing's sitting down south for all that time. I mean, I wonder if Advantech would be willing to like spray it and logo it and get it all ready to bolt on and be so they don't have to have it for a month, you know?
I don't know. I have
Okay.
not heard back. I don't
Okay.
have a quote back from Fallsway, and I have not heard back from the adjuster since
All right.
Monday.
Okay,
I don't have all the information.
well, let's wait and get some more info and but it is still in service with wonky bumper.
Correct. Which
Okay.
was part of the reason I had Fallsway come out, was at least then they could say, yes, everything's intact, which is what I wanted to.
Yeah. Okay.
That the truck's in service.
Good.
Good.
All right. Thank you.
So we discussed last meeting that the foam system is fixed, however, we need to order foam. We do not have the foam for the truck. The truck takes 5 5-gallon buckets,
Okay.
so I would ask for 6 5-gallon buckets. That gives us one spare. Of foam for $241, it is $165 per bucket, so that would be $990 from Atlantic Emergency Solutions.
Is there tax or shipping?
No,
Probably no tax
there would not be tax. We are set up through Atlantic.
through them. Okay. And we can pick up
Or he can drop off.
or he can drop off.
Mhm.
All right. Can we spend this money for foam, Mr. Lowry?
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Varian moves to spend $990 buying 6 5-gallon jugs of foam for $241, with the vendor being Atlantic Emergency Solutions.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
I had received, this is not on here, I had received an email from the Volunteer Firefighters Dependency Fund. That is something we set up every year and set board members to. We have not done that yet this year. We have not. So I received an email saying, hey, don't forget, we need to do this.
Did we not do that in our reorg?
We did not.
Okay.
We didn't? I thought
We-
we did.
If we did, we didn't send it.
We actually, no, we picked
Yeah.
who's in there, but you have to officially get the document. I never received a document.
Yeah, so
It
we
looked like
can
the
vote.
email went to all of us.
Yeah.
So I can,
Well, keep in mind,
So the
when did it come
people-
through because we
True.
had our emails were all
Sure.
screwed up there for a couple
So
of weeks.
through the reorg, people have been picked. We just need to turn in the paperwork, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you
All
need to do an official resolution though, to do that.
All right. Do we remember who the people were that were picked?
I'm sure it was me. It was likely,
And me?
Yeah.
Do we just need the two of us?
it's usually Tom as well.
Usually
three of us.
Tom. Okay. Okay, Trustee Varian moves that Assistant Chief Ruskin, Chief Parker, and Trustee Varian sit on the Fire Dependency Board. Through this motion, we're going to send in the paperwork so that it's on file.
Trustee Puro seconds. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
This document, just so I know, I don't have it. I would like to have it because I always get that. That's why I don't.
I
understand.
forwarded the email to you that I got. I just got it Friday,
You just sent it to me?
just now.
I want to make sure I have it.
You have anything else before the wages? Nothing else? Okay, cool. So set up time to discuss wages. We need to schedule this so we can have some discussion. Fiscal Officer Lowry, looking at the fire fund, the 98,000 that's in the fire fund right now, how much of that's getting paid back to general?
The fire fund will be $30,000 to get paid back.
Okay,
And the
and
soft billing 2282 fund will be $20,000. And right now, if you look at your treasurer's reports, we did receive some of the money for our real estate money. You have presently now 98,588 in the fire fund.
okay,
If you remember the last meeting or the meeting before, you had only like $10,000 or $12,000 there. And then down in the 2282, you have 26,687. I would hold off on doing the transfer at least until the second meeting or first meeting in March. The reason being is all the real estate money hasn't been distributed yet.
okay,
And we need one more shot of money in there because if I would take, let's say, for example, if you wanted to pay back the 20 out of the 2282, that would only leave 6,687.
yeah, we need to
If you-
fatten that pot a little bit
Yeah,
more.
if you took
Yeah.
out 30,000
Okay.
out of the 98, that only leaves you your 60 some, but then your payrolls run 15 grand.
Okay.
So it would drain you down until I see that, we make sure we have that money in place.
All right, if we set up a time to discuss wages for fire, is next meeting too soon? That's the 11th.
I think you could do it on the 11th.
Okay.
And make sure my date, March 11th.
All right. I'm gonna be out of town on the 25th. It's spring break and my kids are off of school, so we're leaving town. So I will miss the meeting of the 25th. So if we want to do it the 11th, we can, or for me, it'll be the 8th of April until I'm back if we can't do it the March 11th one. Or if we want to have a special meeting, we can do that as well. Or we can do a meeting prior to our trustee meeting, whatever the
Let's make it the 11th.
11th, okay.
What time are we talking?
You want to do this outside or you
Do you
want
wanna
to
do
do
it-
executive session during?
We can do an executive session during, that's fine.
Because
I
I
don't think
can't
it's-
come early.
Okay,
This isn't going to take that.
let's do no, it won't take that long. Let's do the 11th
long.
and let's do executive session. And then we'll have another 2 weeks to get, will we get more money in those funds in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay,
Usually by the end of March, you received all your first
Okay.
payment.
All right.
all right, great. Chief Parker, anything else?
Just that we need to reorder those red ID tags that we put on everything, so I didn't know, Brian, if that's something you wanted me to get. It's gonna just order them, but I obviously don't have a way to not pay tax on them, so I didn't know if it was easier for me to just send you what we need.
What company were we dealing with?
I have never ordered them, we've had what we had forever.
Do you have?
Do they have are they Osnaburg Township with an item number? It's an item number? Okay, so it's like possession of
Yep,
Osnaburg
just
Township
property
items?
of, so when we have stuff on a fire scene or whatever, we know what to put back on our truck.
Will you put
Got it.
something on, like how many would you order? Do you know, like you
Like
do
100.
50, 100?
100,
Okay.
yep,
Do we need to give them the last number?
yep, 0091 is the last number we put on the last hose that we got.
0091, and now we're out.
Seemed random, but.
That does seem random, and now we're out, right?
Correct.
0091.
And you will email me something.
I can,
So I don't have any idea what I'm ordering,
Yeah.
so I need to have.
That's
some
fine.
idea.
Yeah, I won't need to give them the name, and it'll have to say our name on it.
Okay.
Okay,
we can do that.
Ava, are you guys still doing the blue address number signs?
Yep.
Okay, so we can still send people up.
Sure can.
great. All right. What do we have left? Run volume.
26 calls. They were all ALS calls. There was no fire calls in that period of time.
Okay. Okay.
You're good.
All right, thank you.
Cemetery.
Ryan dropped off, or cemetery section dropped off, payments right after the meeting. Last meeting, we received a payment of $400 for the sale of cemetery lot at Mapleton for the stop. It says Staub, it don't say Schwab, it says Staub, STAUB family. And then we also collected open and closing fees of $1,000 for Evelyn Mayer at Coote Cemetery. And with that, the deed he dropped off, he requested the trustees would sign off on these two deeds. They're just copies. He gives one to the family and then one goes in our record book. He asked if I would pass that out to you all.
Sign them.
Yep. And as far as anything else in the cemetery, we didn't report. I know he started some cleanup. And he was actually, I know Stu will have it on his report they were working on. We had a lot of cemetery stuff out in the garage. Ryan keeps a lot of those forms and stuff down there, and Stu asked, that to open up the garage a little bit more. We moved, these guys helped him, and they moved a lot of that stuff out.
Okay.
So he has it down at the farm, because that stuff's all things he uses to make all the forms for footers and things.
Oh,
like that.
okay. He's okay. He's okay hanging on up to his barn?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
There's stuff that I had and left here as a staging, anything he could use is like, instead of throwing it out, he can use it.
Yeah. Okay.
One other
Stu had
thing,
some questions about go ahead.
I wanted to bring up, I talked to Ryan when he was up here and we did that, cleanup out there. With all this nice weather we've been having, but I told him I wanted to talk to you, the trustees and physical officer about how much money there was in the cemetery because, okay.
There's nothing.
We're just now receiving enough money that we could mow about 5 times. So we don't, right now we're really tight in the cemetery. I mean, if you ask that question in July, I may be able to say, okay, I can.
We'll be too busy in July.
Stu, what's he looking to do?
What?
They want to
What's
trim
he looking
some
to do?
trees.
We were looking to just try to go up to Koontz there and
Yeah.
cut those trees that was along the sidewalk here and get them the rest of the way down, just haul them down to the dump.
Okay.
They're butchered, they're bad, they're hauled out,
Yeah, right.
they're sticking way out over the road. But that's why I said I would bring it up with you guys because I knew there wasn't a lot there
Yeah, okay.
and I didn't know how we had to handle that.
Mm-hmm.
I think even, Ed and Henry said they were willing to help a little bit on that, being it's right there along their roadway and stuff.
Okay.
We'll commandeer the village and do it all for us.
Yeah,
Many times we help them out
exactly.
in the past. I know.
Well, let's remember that as we start to. get
Okay, it's just, we thought we'd throw it out there and
Yeah.
ask.
Okay.
All right.
So what a good meeting for you to be at. You can hear how short we are on funding. Let's remember that.
That it for cemetery?
Yeah, let me just look at something here I wanted to look at. Yeah, the cemetery right now, you only have $10,080.42. 8,500 of that is your
Prepaid.
prepay, so you can't spend that. So you're only dealing with
That's the floor.
$2,500 right now.
Okay.
Okay.
So you need to hold off until we can see a little bit more income from you.
Yeah, maybe next fall here or something.
Road report.
All right, the trustees have looked over the road report. Is there any questions you'd like to ask?
So what were you working on the pole saw?
On what?
Pole saw. It says worked on the pole saw.
Yeah, we just went over it and,
Nothing's wrong with it.
No.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because it was fairly new.
Yeah.
That there weren't repairing it. Okay.
just sat down, we were going over stuff.
How much salt do you think we have left in the bin?
About 300, 350 maybe, after those last 2 times out,
Okay.
last
So this
Saturday
is
and
still
this last Saturday.
February. Do you think we're
I
gonna
know.
make it?
February.
Usually March, don't we usually get snow?
No, yeah. April,
No, April, we don't.
May,
Have we,
April's not a lot.
we've bought our minimum though, right?
oh yeah, we had that covered.
We had that covered.
If you
We
want
bought our
me-
minimum?
If you want me to go into what I'd like to bring
Yeah.
into the picture right now, being you're talking about salt, we just received this from the Stark County on Friday. And over the weekend, I was able to work on some of it, but you give each one, I put your name across
Oh,
the
there you
top
go.
of it.
There you
What
go.
it is, what I'm gonna give you is from Dave Torres, from Stark County. And I know Stu gets this stuff, but it is confusing because they keep attaching stuff and adding on and get more information. But basically, Stark County Engineers is gonna go with this new CUECOG governing board. They're going, instead of having the Stark County group for salt buying for the 24-25 season, they're gonna move to that. And as you read the emails, I tried to highlight some of this. He's recommending that each entity do the same. It won't be through Stark County. Now, each entity still has a decision. If they can find salt cheaper, take a chance and think you can find it, you can do it. But he's recommended, because Stark County Engineers is gonna go buy their salt through this co-op group. But each group has to submit in a resolution, and then there's a $250 fee to be a part of this group. And as you read it, I know it's a lot there, and I didn't mean to give it to you the last minute, but you don't have to make the decision tonight, but they asked for it by March 14th. But our next meeting is March 11th. So if you don't make a decision tonight, you at least need to have something where you want me to have it prepared to go ahead and try this company or this group moving forward.
So is there option to stay in and do exactly what we've done the last couple of years? Is there an option for that?
Yeah. What it is, right, Dave is mentioning right now, a lot of our Stark County hasn't met their quotas. So a lot of them are behind on what they're purchasing right now. We're very fortunate. We only have to buy 520 ton and we meet our
And
minimum.
we meet it.
Yes.
We've met it.
And right now, that's where Stu has to do a juggling act to figure if we buy our minimum or if we go higher and fill that salt shed up, say, depending on weather for the next month. You don't know how much salt will be used out there, but if we could get 1,000 ton, our over budgeted amount that we go is fine, but it would be helping out other groups in Stark County by us helping buy the extra salt and put it in our bin. It's our bin of salt. It's just that goes in that Stark County group, that whole picture. It helps in the pot of the group to finish out the 23-24 season before July 31st.
So is this ODOT who's creating this new group?
No, the group, if you read through there, it'll say
It's
the,
not new. It's been around since the
yeah,
90s.
it says in there the groups that are in it.
Yeah, that was, what was it,
I gotta find it here.
Yeah, it's
It says all the
Coppin
counties
Township,
are-
City of Green, City of Akron,
It's just a lot bigger group.
But
Yeah.
you
yeah,
formed a
City of
group.
Canton Falls.
What Stark County is saying is that group, the comparison to where we're at now, they were able to buy it $11 a ton cheaper than what we can right now with the Stark County group.
Oh,
And he feels if Stark County goes in there,
$11 a ton,
and
that's
then
a lot
all
of money.
20, I think there's 26 are in our group now, he feels that we will get a better price than $11, but he can't commit to that because he said they're gonna vote on it in April, or May, in May.
I
okay?
see.
But there is that $250 fee to be a part of the group. It's a year-to-year contract. It works on the same principle as we have to buy whatever number we give them for our 24-25.
Yeah, buy that number.
We have to buy at least 80% of it, or we can buy up to 120% over. I'll give you trustees an example. If right in the past 2 years, we have set that number at 900 ton. We have bought not 900 ton each year, but we have made our 720 ton the first year. And right now we'll be at 720 ton if we make 520 more ton this year. So we are following our 80%, but I would suggest the first year, if we go ahead and fill our bin up now, or not say right now, but in the next month or so, take that level with this new group and say 500 ton is the maximum, because then we would only have to buy 400 ton to be at our 80%.
Right.
Or we could buy up to 1,100 ton if we went 120% over. So we could fill our bin up if we say next fall and winter, we wiped out the bin that we have full. We could rebuy and still be in our 1,100 ton.
Is the Stark County group we're in right now, is it year to year, or are we on the hook for 4 or 5 years?
Well, the last contract was a 2-year contract
And we're done?
at the end of this season
All
and
right.
30.
So we're not on the
31st.
hook for 500 ton from them next year?
No,
Okay.
we
All
need to buy 520 ton this year though,
To-
before July 31st.
Right. To keep
At
us-
least, that's the minimum.
Yeah.
Okay.
at
And
that
then we
80%.
met our quota.
So there's no penalty for us leaving Stark County and going to this?
No, because Stark County isn't gonna have that group. They're gonna be a part of this new group.
Okay.
And that's what Dave Torres
You're
is
basically
saying.
gonna go out on your own.
Yeah,
If you
or you
don't-
can go out on your
If
own.
you don't travel with this group
You're gonna
to
go
this
out on
other
your own.
group, you're going on your own.
You're gonna.
Okay. So we don't have to make a decision tonight?
Let you go year to year, like you said, on
If
that.
we know what we're doing, why don't we
We
just
might as
do
well
it?
just make,
That's
Yeah.
fine, let's do
you
it.
guys good?
I'm fine.
I make a motion to join the group of Stark County Engineers, Purchase Road Salt to the Q called Governing Board.
Trustee Varian second,
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
for the 2024 year, right?
2024-25.
Yes,
24,
2024, 25.
They split it, yeah.
And then, that motion, the next motion is, I think you need to consider is how much do you want to buy this year? Do you want to wait? Because we can wait until July 31st. But I know Stu would want to have the salt company come in and at least fill our bin up in April or May at least, or
Right.
not before.
Well, if we want them to bring the conveyor, right?
Right?
Right. I
So-
just talked to him this morning, by the way, and he just
So
had to put a new
if
motor
we've
on.
met our minimum, because you said we met our minimum, right? We've already bought over 500.
No,
No,
we have to
we
buy
have to buy
500.
500.
We have to
Oh,
buy
we haven't done it
520
then.
more.
No.
But we're
At
basically.
the very beginning of this conversation, I said, did we meet our minimum? You guys said, yep. So we have not
No,
met
we
our
met
minimum.
our minimum over the last 2 years there.
Okay, so we're on the hook to buy whatever the price is right now up to that
Yeah,
500 mark.
Right.
And if we're getting it $11 less a ton, we stop. And then we pick it up from these guys. There's no point in buying extra salt for up
That's
there
right.
when it's $11 more a ton from who we're buying now,
The
right?
only point is that the conveyor is so expensive to put it in. If we only have them come put 500 and something
But-
in,
No.
they're not gonna be putting a conveyor in. We're not gonna make the season with that much.
Well,
No.
that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to point out. You're better off mathematically to buy at the price we're buying now with the conveyor, fill that bin up,
Like
and then
when we
buy
do our-
way less next year with the new company by setting the level lower,
Lower.
because then you'd only have to buy 400 ton if you had been sitting up there, because the rates are going to keep going up into the 25, 26 season. If you had to fill it, you're way ahead. We've used the money to fill that bin, so next fall we have a full bin sitting here. If you were thinking about waiting until after the bid comes in and then filling it, like say you only buy 520 right now, between now and July 31st from where we're at now. Then after July 31st, you could only maybe, if Stu hasn't put any out, we might only need 400 or 500 ton to fill it up.
So Brian,
Yeah,
how many more ton do you think right now, not what we've already bought? How many more ton do you suggest we buy as of right now?
At least, well, if you were doing it right now, 800 or 900 ton right now,
Yeah.
800 ton?
yeah,
800, yeah.
which is only a couple, 300 ton more than what I'm saying we should buy right now. Because if you buy 520 ton right now, we've met our quota.
But I mean, I'm just trying to do the math. 800 ton.
Yeah.
That we still need to buy. And what this is telling me that we're talking about $11
Well,
cheaper.
that's not
ton?
guaranteed. That's not guaranteed. Cliff Reed all his stuff on there. That's what it was this year.
You're talking,
Next
we're
year, it
talking
could be
a lot of
only
money.
$6 cheaper. You don't know what it's going to be until after May, when
Right,
they do the bidding process.
okay.
And he's warning you in that email. He's saying, I don't know, I can't tell you it's going to be the same next year, $11 cheaper, based on what we're paying.
Mhm.
But he thinks with everybody joining the group, it should stay low.
But we have to take at least 500 ton now.
Total for the year.
520 ton.
For the year, which we've already bought. We've already bought.
We
So
bought 200
We've already
ton.
bought.
We
Yeah.
bought
We bought
200.
200.
We bought 200 ton.
So
We
350 is what we have to buy.
We needed to buy 720 ton
Right.
to honor Stark County
Mhm.
Engineer.
So
We
about
bought
520 is what we
200,
need.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've only bought just over
About
200.
510,
Yeah.
because we were 220, 210, we were 210.
And what's the conveyor cost?
About $4.
Extra on that.
$4 a ton?
Yeah.
Mathematically, it's only $36,000, trustee.
But you can't bring 500 ton, try to put it in here without the
Truck.
compiler, and then think later on, you're gonna fill that other,
We're not gonna be able to pile.
you
ton
can't
on
get it
that.
back in there far enough to pile
Okay.
off that.
That's the problem. So, and we buy our salt here in the spring to fill our bin for the coming up fall. That's why we're doing it now.
I'm also suggesting that because you're going to help other Stark County townships that are in that group right now. Because if we can buy over what our minimum is, it helps them. Your
Okay.
fellow.
So are we picking the townships we like? No.
I just think it goes in what Stark County
I'm
committed
just kidding,
to.
Brian.
Stark County committed to, a certain amount. And they're way under it because everybody hasn't used salt. That's why I think you see so much salt being used. A lot of times, Stu and I have noticed that it seems like everybody puts salt down there, every little thing right now.
Yeah, at 800 tons at $11. I mean, if you did that math, it's $9,000, 8,800.
You would be, if we buy 800 or 900 ton, I think I just did that, 800 ton, that's 53,600. We have $220,000 in that fund. in that gas tax fund is where I spend it out of. And that's what usually buys your salt, your fuel, all that stuff. And then you wouldn't have to worry about it.
So,
But you're gonna get another $150,000 in that fund this year.
so bro,
We don't have to make a decision on what we want to put in yet.
No,
No.
no,
Let's
no.
wait and see how this goes, because
Yeah.
the way it looks right now, we're not gonna use anymore for much.
so you don't need a motion right now. We can wait,
Right,
right? Okay.
You
but it might change in 2 weeks, who
Yeah.
knows?
you just wanna be thinking about it because you make the motion to go with this group. Stu, over these next 4 or 5 weeks, needs to make a decision on what quantity do we wanna order. Do we wanna order the minimum of 520? Or do we wanna fill that salt bin up with the price we're paying now?
Well, just,
Because you wouldn't know until
that's
that's-
what happens.
Yeah,
You don't know what's gonna
You
happen.
don't know until after May 8th
That's right.
what the price will be. Then you'll know.
Right.
But
Well,
we
the
have
snow should
until
be done
July
by May
31st.
Yeah. Well, Stu can punch some numbers and come to us and tell us what you want to do.
Right.
Do we buy the minimum because it makes more sense, or do we buy a bunch extra? Because we have the money in the account and we want to fill the bin.
Not that I want it to snow, I don't, but if it happens to snow in the next couple of weeks, we don't have much salt out there and we have to order more in, then we're just ordering in a load. We're not ordering it. So then it comes to the compactor, instead of needing the 500 some, maybe we only need 200 some, and then maybe we reevaluate, do we want to do it or not? Or just take the 200 some and then wait,
Right.
because we would be able to dump 200 some if we used it. We just can't dump 500 tons.
No, makes it hard.
So if it snows, we'll
To
have.
push
more
it up
room.
and everything.
Okay.
And then try to get a compiler back in there if you had to go and try to.
All right. So the motion was made to go to the new guy, but we do not need a motion on what we're buying right now. We're gonna wait.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. That it for road, or you got anything else?
Try not to spend money.
You're out of
Yeah, I
time.
knew you were gonna say something. You're out of time.
Let's move to zoning.
Yeah, well, I'll spend it.
Since last meeting, haven't had any permits or anything like that. As you've had a lot of phone calls, though, everything's kind of starting to pick back up again. Over on the nuisance side, the only real change is I sent a letter to the property on Sindel, just kind of saying, hey, reach out to me, put a reminder in that junk vehicles would have to be removed or stored inside, that kind of thing. As far as I've heard, he's still planning on having it cleaned by spring, but I just wanted him to check in with me.
Okay.
The commission will have their meeting again, March 18th, that'll be middle of next month. And we do have 3 people that will be going to the governmental seminar this weekend, so.
Great.
I will mention they're looking at doing some more layered zoning, is what
Okay.
they chose to do.
They're looking to go down 44 south,
Okay.
so from 30 to line.
Okay. Yeah.
Mary, there's nothing on zoning appeal. There's nothing going on. Is this the time of the year where they do the landfill stuff, or when does that come?
That's usually around the middle of the year, so
Okay,
around
middle.
July-ish.
I was just asking that for advertising purposes.
Be quiet. Thank you.
I have one quick thing I wanted to share with Brenda and Mary. And I don't know if this has any merit at all, but I wanted to bring it up. I had to sit for a variance for a project we're working on in Louisville. And I sat in the Louisville City's zoning commission and board of zoning appeals. And I don't know if they are able to pull this off because they're a city and we might not be able to because we're a township, but they're pushing their commission and their board of zoning appeals together. And they figured out a legal way to do it because they can't keep enough people on the boards. So they're in the process of pulling this off. So I have no idea how they're doing it, but I was just curious. I was like, I don't know if that's something we could do or not. But a lot of what they do overlaps in the city. And I don't know, I don't know if that's the case here, but it's going to make it so that their committee will be fully,
I don't know the answer. I know the rules are different for the city than it is for
the township.
I just don't
Yeah.
know.
And it would
That's
obviously
gonna
take
find something to look into.
it would obviously take a lot of work and figuring that out. But I didn't know if, they're all excited about it because the way theirs is set up, the way their government's set up, one person from the zoning board of appeals has to sit on the commission.
Oh, really?
One person has to sit on both, as part of their bylaws. And then their mayor's also there as part of that as well. So Mayor Pat Fallon was there and talked to her. But anyhow, I just thought it was interesting because I've never heard anyone talk about putting them together. I'm like, how are you legally doing that? I'm like, well, we're working on it. So I thought that was interesting. But anyhow,
We do have a full group on the commission, correct? With some alternates.
that's great.
The BZA, it has its 5 voting members,
Mhm.
but no alternates.
So you are full.
Well,
Other than having the alternate, it'd be
Yeah.
nice, but that's good. That's good. All right, thanks.
we'd like to have the alternates in there too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right. Old business, trustees consider resolution to Stark County Commissioners letter regarding Senate Bill 52.
That was the one you all took home with you to table it, to read it over regarding the wind and solar projects in the township.
Is there a timeline on that?
Let me read it here, let me make sure.
Those were 2 separate though, weren't they, Brian?
No, it was all together. It's just asking for I'll give it to you. Anybody have a copy?
Here you go.
You want it? Yeah, I got.
Oh, you got yours?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got mine. Just want to make sure you all have. I will tell you, trustees, when I went to the last Stark County meeting here last week, when they brought that up, I can tell by the buzz in the air, and I think, Matt, you were there, there's a lot of,
It's a hot button issue.
it's a hot button issue.
Yeah, is it?
I'd say it's a hot button issue for a large scale.
Yeah, there was one township spoke up and they're upset because there was like over 800 acres were purchased by outside sources to put this in there, right up in there, because there's no restriction. And they're concerned about it, but you could tell, at least my feeling is the commissioners want input from you all on what direction. Are you for it? Are you against it? Or are you neutral? They want to know, and any feedback. And that's what this letter is about, to put that resolution in place. Because they want to hear from you.
So the comment I have is that, I like business and I want business in here. And if they were using some landfill property that we can't do anything with, that's great. But I don't want them taking our farm ground to put solar fields on that we would be using for farming. Besides that, the solar panels themselves are so hazardous. Does that mean we're gonna get them back here in all the landfills we have around us? So at this point, I'm not leaning to be in favor of it, unless there's some reason. And we are talking just the large size,
Right.
correct?
We had that question before we tabled. It says in this resolution, large.
Yeah.
So we don't know what large is.
It's something with megawatts, usually.
Right. I'd love it if it said small is 10 acres or under and large is,
I think we
11
should.
acres
I
or-
think,
like it would make
well,
us-
right here, it has capacity of less than 20 megawatts.
it's given you by megawatts rather than size of footprint.
I think we should hold off right now.
What's our timeline on this?
I thought it was coming down, that's why I'm
Yeah, I thought
looking
it
through
was
it all.
pretty soon.
It says it wants you to adopt it on or before April 30th. So you do have some time.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
But the commissioners want to hear from you, what you want. Because they want to act in behalf
Right.
of the county.
We want to keep discussing or table this. What do you think?
So the question
If-
comes back then,
If we're gonna,
the foreign company that bought the 800 acres, really, why are we allowing foreign countries to buy property?
they didn't buy the property, they leased it. It's in
They leased
Washington, it's in Washington Township, it's farm ground, it's all leased property.
Hmm.
It's not bought property.
Okay. So,
800 acres is big.
But it's a very
That's
hot issue up there.
so evidently there was someone who owned was it one person who owned the whole 800 acres or is this
There's
multiple?
probably about 3 or 4.
And they agreed to lease it for that purpose.
This has been going on for years, 5 years maybe. But they're getting close to the permitting spot. And from what I understand, it's gonna go down to the state to be voted down there. There's a panel of 9, and then the trustee and the commissioners from here get a vote. You know any more on it? That's the way I know the commissioners and the trustees will get 1 vote.
There's 900 acres, I think, in Somerville that they're trying to put a solar. The Johnson Farm.
I haven't heard about that one.
They're trying to do a big one down there too.
Hmm.
I think Lawrence Township's having an open, I was gonna go next Monday, they're having something.
To have like a town hall.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
That's Stark County?
Lawrence.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they said Canton Township and Jackson Township voted against it so far.
Okay.
Yeah, there was, I think they had 4 in and they all voted against.
Well,
Oh,
I'm the
interesting.
same as Brendan. If you have brown ground or an old site or some,
Right,
there's nothing wrong with that, but
no,
just throw it out here anywhere. When you have them kind of sites, it doesn't make sense, in my opinion. So I would say, yeah, you're 4 with,
but we can't control what ground gets used and what ground doesn't.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And so that's what if we could and say it was only waste ground that it could go on, but we can't do that.
I'd like to wait till next meeting before we vote on this.
You say, Cliff, you'll be here on the 11th.
I'll
but
be
the
on the 11th. Yeah.
25th,
The 25th is East Canton spring break, and we're planning a trip out of town.
Just to
Sorry.
be fair to you trustees, if you need to look and research some more, but on the other hand, I would think that the commissioners are reaching out to you right now. They're wanting your input, so.
Well,
Yeah, we can.
Are you all right? Wait.
Let's talk. Let's think about it and do a little more discernment. And then the 11th, we'll fill this out and get it in. It's still under their window. So, but yeah, looking at the description down here in the bottom of the first page, it still doesn't have an acreage.
Yeah.
You know, it's giving you a little description with large solar facility and large wind facility, but it's not giving you like what is large. I mean, I would think 800 or 900 acres is fairly large. Yeah, the whole thing's in.
that's a commercial facility.
Yeah, right. Okay.
That's a setback here.
The size. I glanced out there.
I don't think
I may have
I
missed
don't think on solar that they go off of acreage, it's off of megawatts.
Megawatts.
Yeah.
When it's like 50 and up.
1.21
But I
gigawatts.
All right,
Okay.
we're gonna wait till next time. All right, Brenda, you have something on Sucos?
Yeah, did you were trying to get an appraisal on that property?
I just got that back. I think it's out in my truck. I was gonna bring it in. Yes, I just got it.
Just side note, that appraisal was it in factory?
It was
They did it pro bono?
Yes.
That's great.
So
Awesome.
I gave a call to Phil Francis with some questions. And he said he'd like to, which I think is what he said to Brian, come to a meeting and present. And so he wants us to send him questions.
Okay.
Brian's our liaison. And so I'm passing my questions down to Brian.
Okay.
And he wants to come and present and answer these questions.
Okay.
Those are my questions. But I would hope that if you have questions you want to add to that we can get him set up to come on the 11th to answer those questions.
Okay.
And some of my questions are, where do we have the right to, with the property not deeded to us when we're trying to go for these grants? So,
Yeah, that's huge.
yeah.
That's a big one.
I mean, the little bit that he answered back to me was that it's just legal, and yes, you do have that right, and they can give us documents for that. It's kind of,
Okay.
but he was gonna verify that.
Okay.
I know our attorney wants to know the insurance liabilities on whether it's who's covering it for sure, or if we put a facility there through a grant and somebody gets hurt over there,
Right.
how that works.
And I don't know, if I didn't add that to that, Brian, add that to there.
Okay, because I that was my main question I had.
He
when I
did
was-
say they have insurance on it,
Yes, they have
Hmm.
property insurance, but I
but
kept
he's
thinking about if
supposed to
we.
tell us what that is.
Yes,
So
But
put that
I-
on that list.
I would
forgot to
assume
write
that the
down.
property insurance that a bank carries on a trust like this doesn't include someone falling off the sliding board. That's a different thing,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. they're-
So that's gonna be a different insurance.
plus they're paying real estate taxes because it's coming out of the trust at the top rate. We don't do that, so is there a way that we can get it, since it's our, it's
Yeah.
technically ours, and they're using money that's technically ours to pay it? I don't know. We
Yeah.
shouldn't be paying all those taxes.
Good question.
You sure they're paying? I thought when it's deeded to the park, I thought parks didn't pay taxes.
That one, it's
Property
not a park
tax.
yet.
What makes, well,
We didn't do anything yet.
what
That's
makes,
a good question, though. I mean, would it
Right.
change? If there's a park on it, I mean, is that,
sorry, parks don't pay taxes.
right. Okay.
All right. The other thing I had is the farmers have contacted me and they are interested, they were wanting to know what we want to do about this lease. They'd like an extended lease. They said 3 years would be minimum. They'd like to have 5 years for to be able to invest more money back into it.
Is it the same farmers that are doing it now, or is this
Yeah.
different?
Same guys.
So I don't remember who said it, maybe it was you, Cliff, that property that goes off the end of Worley there, that you guys talked about, somebody bought it. Did you say maybe Mideast or somebody bought?
Yeah, Mideast has a good chunk of that. They purchased a chunk.
So-
Actually, fairly recently.
Yeah, before we do that, we're at this point here, we need to look to see if we can get either an easement or to purchase a little driveway there. So before we commit for multiple years to farmers, there's quite a few farmers around there that want to do it too. It wasn't just the one. I'm not interested in a 3-year lease, is a long time for us.
What do you want me to tell them? Do you want, because they either got to make a decision or they're going to walk. I mean, somebody's got to decide what's going to happen for this year.
Well, I mean, if they want to lease it this year, I think we're good for this year, but I don't want to sign a 3-year lease on it.
All right, well,
Are they, when we look at the chunk with the 50 and then the little smaller chunk,
all they don't want to do is put a bunch of inputs in it and
Yeah, no, I get
kicked
it.
out next
Yeah,
year.
no, I get
and lose
it.
money.
Mhm.
So they're
I
not
mean,
gonna-
in my opinion, if we're talking about the big 50-acre chunk and we're talking about the little offshoot, I mean, our time's got to be spent here
Right.
now.
They have no issues with working with us. like,
On the
if
big
they-
chunk.
On
Yeah.
the big chunk, I would be okay as long as they give us the right to, the cross-country team's gonna make that path around
They
the
have no
outside
issues
edge.
with that.
Yeah, if we
That one I'm okay with, but not the little chunk.
if we take the stakes that we just paid for that survey, or the trusted, and we create a path stake to stake close to it, and even if we got easement from Worley and tied it in, so they could come from Worley's Park and run over to the trail, you
Right.
could still farm the majority of that 50 and it not bother anybody.
They want to get it back into a hayfield.
Okay.
Roads, but in
It's got a
that,
wet spot in it.
well, that doesn't matter. They plant grass there, but it's to our benefit. They're going to plant it,
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we need the
but
ground.
they're
to
not
be
going to
worked.
do that.
they're not going to do it
without,
Yeah, I get you.
without, because you have to put a significant inputs into it. And they're
Right.
not going to do it.
how much time we have on that?
They won't do that without a minimum of 3 years.
I mean, how much time we have to tell them? It's February 26th. What do they need to know by?
The people that are doing that are not any of the neighbors. And we had 3 different neighbors came and said they wanted to farm it.
Well,
So if these people want to walk away, maybe one of those 3 neighbors will want to farm it. It definitely needs to be farmed. It can't sit idle.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I agree.
I don't want to be bullied into signing a 3-year
Well,
lease. I understand what the
if-
hayfield is.
If
no, that's fine. If it's year to year, they're going to treat it as a year to year.
if we can get Francis to come on the 11th, I don't even know if that's possible. It's only 2 weeks away.
That's
If we
possible.
can get him to come on the 11th, we should ask him some of these questions. And
And
then,
trustees, I know I'm writing some notes onto Brenda's list. Can you get me something, each one of you, and then we'll put it together and I just send it to him.
And then he's gonna bring the
And then I'll
answers.
ask
Yeah,
him if he
fine.
can come on the 11th.
yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. I think we wait and talk to Francis and have that
Because he's
question.
the one that's been making the deal with the farmers, not us.
Well, it's just been the same thing every year.
So, but I think
Nothing's
that,
changed.
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
maybe he has an answer on the 3 years, who knows?
Yeah, he may have an opinion on that.
I asked him, he said it was up to us.
Okay,
It's
All
our decision.
all right.
All right. New business, fiscal officer request resolution for collecting advances as they are received to auditor's office.
Trustees, that's kind of a yearly thing. I meant to do it last meeting. That's just so that as the county receives the real estate, they release it to us each time in what's called an advance. You should have a resolution in place for auditing purposes.
Trustee Pure moves to accept advances from the auditor's office upon whenever they are sent for the 2024 year.
Got
Trustee Varian, second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Fiscal officer Lowry has been certified for 2024 year CPIM completion.
Look at you.
Yay.
They gave you something to hang on the wall.
I only have I think 60 hours a year of this stuff.
Yeah.
You only need 6.
All right, well, hey,
So
hey,
I got it when I was down there, but I just
Good.
wanted to make note of that.
good.
Can I ask Brian, I seen that we put a notice out that the preliminary audit was released, unaudited statements.
I didn't know if you saw it.
I watched the
Yeah,
website.
I'm glad you watched it. I just finished that up. I got that on there and it's actually going to be in the paper. I have to advertise that. So it's in the paper, but it's on our website. I did not put the unofficial audit on there, but it's what you have to do for the auditor's office, just make it available if somebody comes here, and I do have it available. But I want to do it and post it if somebody wants to read it over, how I did it, my notes and all that stuff.
Well, that was good to see that.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice to have that
You
done.
had something for new business?
Yeah, we have in the fiscal office in 2025, I'll be getting a new computer, a new printer. I found out at the show. I thought it was one or the other. This year, they're holding off to 2025. The printer that is presently in the stews in the road department, it sits off to the side that everybody was using, went on a blank. Did a quick overview of it. Asked Philip Schwab, who's here helping us with the email problem. He said, really, they have no value anymore, that printer. And that printer was originally there since 2013, give you an idea.
You guys did well on that printer.
Well, all I need is, I would like to deem it worthless and trash it out and do what it needs to get rid of it. But
I think it's hazardous waste, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's where Philip will come in. He knows where I
Where to
can
get
take
rid of
that. But at the same time, I just wanted to run by the idea of what I've been working on. The secretary's computer, the zoning computer needs replaced before the end of this year. Those need to be replaced. I shouldn't say Sue's computer does not need to be replaced, but it needs to be upgraded. But he highly doesn't recommend it being upgraded to Windows 11. For her use, what we use here for security purposes. He said, if you're going to put a new computer, I'd put it in the offices. But her computer can be modified to be used in the road department, because that one is definitely got to get off the block. So the idea was, I said, well, give me a price on just 2 computers, converting Sue's computer over so we can make it road. And then as far as the printer, right now, not replace it, but my printer will be deemed that we get it. We can make it the new printer to take the place where this one that you deem worthless now. I can take the spot of it and keep the cost down, because that's what I was telling Phil. I said, originally I thought we had to buy 3 computers. We only have to buy 2, but the upgrades are only a few $100s to make Stewie have one in there. And then I brought up to him, I said, I haven't talked to fire
I
department,
was
because
gonna
I
say,
don't
are
know
all
where
these
they're at.
bought at the same time?
Yeah.
Are your computers up? due up to?
because Windows 11 needs to be in place for 2025, or at least upgradable if something can be upgraded. I'm not sure, Amy,
I
what you
have no
got
idea. I
down
have to check.
there. Yeah,
How many desktops do you guys have?
One,
Yours?
Yes.
And then laptops?
two.
I think yours is pretty old, isn't it?
Mine is super old.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that'll be something to be
We gotta
considered
get rid
there,
of it.
but I asked him to do the office now for here,
Okay.
but give Amy time to look into what we have
Are
there.
your laptops as old as your desktop, Amy? Or your
No.
laptops newer?
One is newer,
Okay.
one is,
Yeah.
but the
Okay.
desktop
The
now
desktop's
is,
super old.
I would say 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
even that, 10. I mean, it's pretty old.
You want a motion for this printer?
Just for to get rid of that printer, yeah.
Trustee Piro moves to destroy the road printer.
Trustee Varian, second.
All those in favor, aye?
right.
Thank you.
Don't dump it along the road until you pick back up.
I do
Right,
let
I
you know
forced
that
you, and I'll just put it on the side of the truck.
the first wave that you shredded of the old documents I have went out here, 4 of them went out.
Great.
Stu and the road crew helped me move the stuff we sorted through that went to recycling. What you see back, there's 2 empty ones to finish up what we have there, and then we gotta bring, Mary's been helping me a lot with this stuff. What we gotta bring in is the stuff that's out in the storage room and go through that, but out in the storage room right now, there's only from 1999 moving forward, to 2021's out there, but the last 10 years I've been here, the last 10 years has already been kind of kept up. So I really only got to go through about 15 more years out there
Okay.
to get everything that we need cleaned up. I did purchase through the office totes, commercial totes there to put our records that need to be kept here, the minute books and stuff, to seal them up, that they could be stored over in the room up high. Because right now, I don't think we need to offer anything to historic value, because I'm going to keep everything. Because everything we have, I think we need to keep it here on site, but I want to make sure it's protected good. So give you an update on that. I know you keep looking at that back there, but it went down a lot. It used to be up about where Matt's sitting. We didn't have a lot of room in there, but we got rid of about 2.5 pallets. So
It's getting smaller.
yeah, but the goal of this is to get us caught up to the retention policy the way it had been designed to do. The last 10 years and even moving forward now, I'm keeping that caught up to it, so it's not that bad. That part, it's just what from 2013 and back is what I got to finish. But I don't know, trustees, if you ever have anybody want some history, but there's some interesting stuff there. That's why I don't want to give it up. If somebody comes in here and wants to ask something, boy, there's some neat history in there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, Trustee Varian moves to adjourn and pay bills.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
All those in favor, aye?
All right.
Wait.
There was a.
How old is this building?
1992?
I was thinking it's almost 30.
We
Or
just
it is
have-
30.
Built 91.
Yeah.